Both of you play alongside legendary locks like Andries Beck and Eben Etzebeth. What did you learn from them? Ooh. Hi, I'm the Kock Steenkamp.
Hi, I'm JD Schickerling and this is Bound by the Jersey.
Okay, first question. Is there any pressure that comes with being associated with a high school that are known for producing world-class rugby players? This is a very good question. Because I went to Paul Boys High and he went to Paul Jump.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it's, I won't say it's pressure, I think it's more of a very good opportunity nowadays to be associated with a school like that. Because I think if you've seen the Springboks that came over the last couple of years, a lot of them came, I wasn't a Springbok, but I think a lot of the Springboks originated from those schools nowadays. So it's a very good opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I'm with you on that it's a massive opportunity to be associated with schools like that. Yeah, I just think I agree with you on that point.
And boys will win inter schools this year.
Maybe not.
Okay, next.
Okay, who is the most intimidating lock you've ever had to do lineouts against? I would probably say Brody Retallick and Sam Whitelock. I think obviously with them being in the New Zealand side as international players, obviously that's guys you also want to measure yourself, and especially when it was Super Rugby, you always want to try and beat them. But yeah, that's probably the most difficult guys I've come across doing lineouts against.
Mine is actually also Sam Whitelock. I think playing against the Crusaders, they do their homework very well. So you always think about, isn't they maybe one step ahead of you? So yeah, him and then the Crusaders in general are very hard to play against. And I think in our time, the Bulls with Matfield and Buckies and them, they were also always tough.
Yeah.
But we had Andries Becker that could cancel that out. But it was tough.
Probably easier with even your lineouts.
Yeah. So no. Okay. Can I go again? Okay, describe a DHL Stormer fan in 3 words. You can go first and I can think of it.
Oh, wow. Now you're putting me under pressure. I think in 3 words.
Yeah.
Passionate, I'd say. They show, let me say, enjoyment, passionate, enjoyment, and aggressive sometimes. They can be aggressive. So passionate, enjoyment, and aggressive.
I almost just want to say 1 word, and I'll say loyal. Because I think they're the loyal supporters. But we can win, we can lose. I will say Newlands will be full, but DHL Stadium will have 20,000 plus people. Where when the Bulls lost, it's empty, or when they win, it's full. So we're very loyal supporters. Yeah. And honest. I remember how they used to chirp you when you got out of the.
I think that's probably why I say aggressive with them.
They have no mercy.
They can get chirpy when, especially when we play home.
Yes.
And on the opposition, they put a lot of pressure with that. So I agree. Okay, next one. How do you think lineouts have changed over the years?
Ooh, okay, I'll go first on this one. What definitely changed in our days you used to stand there and make the call, where I see nowadays they make the call before them in a huddle and the prop will go to the hooker. They used to do that in the UK as well. So I don't know if I'm correct, but it looks like that's a major thing. But then I think, the mauling stuff changed a lot, I think, as well. But yeah, you played both almost in both eras, so I think you're gonna explain it.
I always had a bit of both. I agree with you on that, where you used to call a lot more in the lineouts. Sometimes I think it still happens where you have to make a call in the lineout, but it's a lot more where you give a pre-meditated call, I'd say, where you would think the space is on. So I think in regards to that, that has probably changed, and obviously the mauling has gotten so technical as well, and you have to almost try and outsmart the opponents how they want to stop it. So a lot of technical stuff goes into it nowadays. I think even the way we stand in a line-out was different to back then. You almost stood like silent the way now you're actually facing the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know, I'll fall back, but maybe your hook is still very good call.
No, I'm not that old. But I'm with you on the line-out maul. Yes, it feels like every maul is a penalty for me now, because I don't understand the rules anyway, where the people getting allowed to roam around.
I think there's a fine line with that.
Yeah, but maybe I think it's like, in our days it was always this truck and trail, it feels like the obstruction, so I think it's better now. Okay, what major change in your personal life have you gone through during your time with the union?
What major change?
You can go first.
I think a major change in my personal life was probably having my daughter. That is probably something that changed quite a lot in my life, and probably one of the best experiences having a daughter. It's nice to become a father. Obviously, you've got the rugby side of things, but going back home with seeing your wife and your daughter is so amazing, and such a good feeling afterwards. Even when you have a bad day at rugby, you go back to your family and it's all good.
Class. No. How do I beat that? Because I didn't have. On a person, I left here when I was quite young still, but I finished my studies, which was a big personal thing for me here. And then, I met my wife at the end, and but I just think I made a lot of friends. That was quite, which I still have now, which is good on a personal level. But I didn't have any kids.
Friends and your wife.
That's also good. Okay, next.
Okay. How would you compare playing rugby in South Africa and playing rugby overseas?
Okay, that was quite a big difference, because I was only at the Stormers in South Africa, so I only had this as a reference, and then going over there, it's a lot different, the way they think about the game. Obviously, I played in Wales, so as you say, the conditions is much more wet and slow and stuff like that. So I remember the one time I asked, what's the call on the scrum? They said, no, we don't have a call, we just go for the penalty. And I was like, but what if we don't get the penalty? Every line-out maul they drive, and you don't have all this, kick. Yeah, they have a lot of kicking, but I mean, counter-attack from kicking, that's almost not really there. So it's a big difference, but it's a nice experience.
Yeah, I agree with the experience side, and for me, going to Japan was a big culture thing, big culture difference. So it was quite something to adapt to. And then on the rugby side of things, you always think it would be a bit easier in Japan, but I must say it's a very fast game over there. So it was quite something to adapt to, where in South Africa, obviously, we're much bigger guys, and so for me, probably the speed of the game there was a massive difference compared to here. But also each year, so I was there for 3 seasons, and each year it got even more difficult. The competition just grew because there's more internationals coming in. So the quality of the rugby just increases so much. So it was a very good experience for me. But still enjoy it.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy, especially adapting with your family.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Over there, obviously you miss your family this side, and when you that long gone, not being at home, it sometimes gets tough. But South Africa will always be home.
No, definitely. That I learned from playing overseas. Okay, next one. Both of you play alongside legendary locks like Andries Beck and Eben Etzebeth. What did you learn from them? I think from Andries, I'll go first. I think from Andries, I learned a lot about the line-out because when I started playing, I played only 4. I didn't call the line-outs, and then I played 4 with him, and then later on, I took out when he wasn't here, I did the line-out call to teach me a lot about that. From Eben, I'll say that guy's work rate is up he always had the thing he wants to be last out of the gym. It's gym till everybody's left, so his work rate is something to look up to.
Yeah, I think with Eben, I think the same, like his work ethic is just on another level, and I think that's someone I look up to, especially when I played here with him, is you almost want to be in his aura because it's got a good impact on you as a player, especially because I was a youngster, which was really awesome. And then I actually were privileged enough to work with Andries, although he didn't play. I actually asked him to be a player coach, but that was in Japan because he's in such good shape still for his age. But for me, I also learned quite a lot line-out wise from him. Because obviously when I played with Eben here, we didn't have a specialized 5-lock. So I kind of had to try and get my own thing going. So it was nice going to Japan, getting him as a mentor in that position, which was good. Yeah.
Okay. Last one.
Okay. What do you remember about your debut game for the DHL Stormers?
Sure. My debut, I actually made against the Lions on Ellis Park and that was in 2010. And luckily we won that game, and it's just I think it builds up. You play Curry Cup and stuff, so it's not maybe where a guy played it, he makes it by debut for the box. It's completely different. It's more like you progress through the stages. But I mean, it's always a privilege, and I remember always that was the way. But the next week we played the Waratahs on a Friday night at Newlands, back Friday night Newlands.
Yeah.
You smell SAB brewery coming over the field. That is special, So that's very nice.
Yeah, mine was luckily home game at Newlands, 2016 against the Bulls, and it was actually my first game back after my serious neck injury. So, and my injury was against the Bulls. So my first game was against the Bulls again. But at that moment, obviously, I didn't think about like the massive injury and then coming back. For me, it was just a special occasion of being at Newlands, my first game against the Bulls, this big rivalry, the brewery smell you get at Newlands.
Did you win?
And we won.
Okay.
I think Newlands was a very special place for us that were fortunate enough to still play there, and for me that debut was pretty special. Yeah.
I just thought, now that story must, if you didn't win, it's not the cherry on the cake.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Thank you, BrightRock, for having us. It's been nice to be back at the HPC.
Awesome. Thanks to Kock.